If you are still searching for answers, it is because you are running from the only place where they exist, within yourself. The soul has already answered. What is missing is not a sign, but the courage to listen. What Rumi taught about accessing the inner core of your soul has nothing to do with thinking, understanding, or seeking answers outside. It is about stopping the escape from yourself. It is about silencing the noise that separates you from what you know is real. Rumi confronts because he points straight to the wound. While you search for meaning, your soul already knows, but you do not listen. Sufi meditation does not take you far away. It returns you inward to the point where existence stops being a question and becomes a living experience, felt in the body, in the chest, in the now. When the noise falls, the soul answers on its own. Stay until the end and you will feel in practice how to cross the internal noise, access the center of your soul, and allow deep answers about your existence to arise without effort, without theory, and without escape. Now, the way Rumi would do it, without ornament, without excuses, without one day I'll start. If you want to access the interior of your soul, you are going to create a truly sacred moment, not an aesthetic one. Turn off your phone. Place it face down, as if cutting a cord. Sit and choose a single intention. I return inward. Do not try to be calm. Do not try to be spiritual. Just be honest. Rumi would not ask for perfection. He would ask for presence. And presence begins when you stop abandoning yourself. So before breathing, you quietly acknowledge, I got lost. This sentence opens the door because it breaks the mask. And when the mask cracks, the heart begins to breathe on its own. Step 1, very direct, body firm but not rigid, feet on the ground, spine upright like someone who respects themselves, chin slightly down, hands relaxed in your lap, and now you do something simple that the ego hates. You stay still, you remain 10 seconds doing nothing. Anxiety will arise because your addiction is to run. And then you understand Rumi in practice. The soul does not scream, habit does. So you name the habit, haste. And without arguing, you return to slow breathing. Inhale through the nose and release through the mouth as if pouring out weight. Release slowly. Release until the chest sinks slightly. This is the beginning of the inner world, the body becoming home again. Step 2, the breath that opens the heart. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6. And on the exhale, you form a simple image. The air descends from the face into the chest. You are not imagining something beautiful, you are training direction. Every time the head wants to dominate, you pull the focus downward. This is how the soul returns, by descending. Rumi always pointed to the heart as the center, not the head as the commander. So you repeat inwardly without excessive poetry, firm and simple, I return to the chest. If thoughts arise, do not argue. Say passing and return. It is repetition. It is training. It is emotional discipline. And discipline is love in the form of action. Step 3. Creating space with the hand on the heart. Place your right hand on your chest. Feel the warmth. Feel the weight of the hand. And ask a question you cannot lie about. What am I truly feeling right now? Do not invent. Do not explain. Just feel. Emptiness may come. A knot in the throat may come. Sadness may come. Anger may come. You are not ruining the meditation. You are finding the real material. Rumi would not take you to a clean place. He would take you to the true place. So you breathe into the sensation as if giving it permission to exist, and you notice when you give space, the sensation changes. For the soul begins to answer through transformation, not through discourse. Step 4, the soul's first answer is always a cut through self-deception. So you ask the cutting question, where am I betraying myself? You place the question in the chest and wait. Do not force an answer. Do not hunt for a beautiful sentence. Wait for the body to react. If the body contracts, there is truth there. If an image, a name, or a situation appears, do not run. Rumi did not flee the fire, he entered it to melt what was false. So you hold the scene with slow breathing and say, I see. Only that. You are training the soul to trust you. Because the soul only speaks when it realizes you will not run. And if shame arises, excellent. Shame is the mask falling. Step 5. Separating mind from soul with a simple test. When an answer appears, ask, does this make me more whole or more tense? The mind arrives with urgency and drama. The soul arrives with firmness and simplicity. Sometimes the soul's answer hurts, but along with it comes a strange peace, a sense of this is it. So you do not rush to conclude anything. You simply register inwardly, direction, and return to breathing. Why? Because the soul does not need you to understand everything. It needs you to stop lying. Rumi taught this without negotiation. Less story, more truth. And truth, when it arrives, does not need to shout. Step 6. Receiving the answer without turning it into fantasy. You will do something brutally practical. Ask for a next step, not a destination. Ask, what is the true next step for today? And wait. It may be, go to sleep earlier. It may be, Stop feeding a certain relationship. It may be, speak the truth you avoid. The soul's answer is almost always simple and concrete. And here is where you prove whether you are on Rumi's path. You accept the simple. The ego wants an epic mission. The soul wants alignment. So you breathe and say, I accept the next step. Only that. And feel the body. If it relaxes, you received it. If it becomes agitated, it is the ego negotiating control. Step 7. Active silence, which is not absence, but presence. Now you remain 1 minute without questions. Just breathing and listening. Listening to what? Listening to the body. Listening to the chest. Listening to the space between one thought and another. When a thought enters, you do not go with it. You observe it as if it were a cloud, and you repeat, not now. Not with anger, but with firmness. This is practical Sufism. You choose the center repeatedly, and each choice is an answer about your existence because you discover who you are by what you choose. Rumi would tell you, you are not the turmoil. You are that which remains observing. Step 8. When strong emotion arises, you do not try to heal it on the spot, you cross it with breath. If tears come, let them. If anger comes, feel it. If fear comes, observe it, and you make a simple gesture. On the exhale, relax the belly, because a tense belly is the sign of struggle. Rumi spoke of surrender, and surrender is this, stopping the hardening. The soul does not speak to a locked body, so you release the belly and the jaw, deliberately. And you notice how the emotion softens, and when it softens, clarity arises. This is what I was avoiding feeling. And this clarity is already an answer. Your existence was asking for emotional courage, not information. Step 9, the anchor word technique for quick return. Choose a short word. Beloved, return, hot. On the inhale, think the word. On the exhale, think here. This creates an inner track. It is too simple for the ego to respect, and that is why it works. Rumi was never about complication. He was about going straight to the point. So when the mind fires up, you return. Beloved, here. Return, here. And each return clears the inner channel. You are not trying to be someone. You are returning to yourself, and the more you return, the more the soul understands that it now has space to speak. Step 10. How the soul responds when you are ready. It responds first with a sensation of direction. You may feel a yes as expansion in the chest, a no as tightening, a be careful as coldness. Do not turn this into superstition. It is simply refined perception. You train, and clarity increases. And Rumi always pointed to this intimate truth. The heart knows when you are aligned. So during meditation, if a concrete choice arises, you place the choice in the chest and ask, does this bring me closer to my center or pull me away? And you wait for the body to answer. This is the soul's answer. Not a sentence, but a compass. Step 11. The moment you silence the seeker inside you, you realize that part of your search is just fear in disguise. Fear of being alone with yourself. Fear of facing how distracted you live. So you make a 1-minute vow. I will not seek anything for 60 seconds. You will only breathe and feel. And this brings panic at first, because the ego cannot tolerate silence without gaining something. Rumi would confront exactly this. You want God as a reward, not as truth. So you remain without reward, only presence. And in that emptiness, you feel something subtle, a light warmth, a small peace, a sense of, I exist now. This is the seed. Step 12, turning insight into real proof. Otherwise it becomes fantasy. Practice finished? Do not rush to the internet. Take paper and write 3 things. What I felt, what became clear. The next step, 3 lines. No romance, no long text. Because the more you embellish, the more the ego invades. Rumi was direct in the cut. Truth is simple. Then you choose one small action for the same day. If the step is stop humiliating yourself, you cut self-criticism when it appears. If it is say no, you say no in one situation. This seals the soul's answer in the real world. And when you seal it, the answers become stronger in the next practice. Step 13. Quick practice in the middle of chaos because the soul does not live only in silence. At any moment of the day, touch your chest with 2 fingers, take 1 deep breath and ask, what is true right now? And accept the first simple truth. I am tense. I am running. I am afraid. Simply naming it is already practical Sufism because it breaks the spell. Rumi would teach you not to deceive yourself with beautiful phrases. Then you choose a micro action. Relax the jaw, stand up and drink water, step away from the phone for 5 minutes. It seems small, but this is how you access the interior of the soul, by repeatedly returning in daily life, and constant return becomes real identity. Step 14. The mistake that kills the practice, trying to control the experience. You will not control it, you will allow it. So when you enter meditation and nothing happens, you do not abandon it. You stay, you breathe, you endure boredom, Boredom is the ego without toys. Rumi would step on your boredom and say, "Stay there." And when you stay, boredom opens a door. Behind it there is old sadness, old fear, old truth. The soul does not come at first because the beginning is full of noise. You need to cross the noise, and crossing means staying 1 minute longer than you wanted to. That one more is the strike that opens. Step 15, listening without inventing. How to do it safely. You never make huge decisions in the heat of emotion. You receive the direction and test it calmly. If the soul said stop, you test by stopping something small first. If it said change, you change a small habit first. The soul speaks with firmness, but with patience. What screams now or never is anxiety, and Rumi would not push you into desperation. So you do this. Receive, write it down, sleep, return to the practice the next day and ask the same thing. If the direction repeats with the same simplicity, then it is deep. This trains spiritual maturity. And maturity is the most beautiful form of faith. Step 16, the practice of melting the false self without philosophy, only interaction. During meditation, when a thought of identity appears, I am like this. I can't. No one understands me. You do not argue, you ask, is this truth or defense? And you observe the body. If the body hardens, it is defense. And you soften the body, release the shoulders, release the belly, release the jaw, and repeat, I do not need to defend myself now. This is melting. This is where Rumi wins you. He does not give you explanation, he gives you experience. And when defense falls, you feel an inner space that feels like freedom. And in that space comes the most honest answer, I was trapping myself. Step 17. When the answer comes as pain, you do not run, you deepen with care. If guilt arises, ask, guilt about what? If sadness arises, ask, sadness for which loss? If fear arises, ask, fear of what exactly? But you ask with the chest, not with the head. You ask and return to breathing. Because breath is the track that prevents the ego from turning it into a soap opera, and then the answers become clear because you leave the vague and enter the real. Rumi always did this, removing the veil. And the veil is vagueness. When you touch the real, even if it hurts, you feel relief, because relief is stopping self-deception. Step 18. The soul responds strongly when you do something almost no one does. Remain silent after the question. So you do this. Ask once and remain 3 minutes without asking anything, just breathing. And when the urge to check appears, you return to the anchor word. You are training reception. Because the soul does not speak under pressure, it speaks through trust. And trust is, I stay here. I do not run. I do not need to fill the silence. Rumi would place you in this gentle fire until you give up control. And the moment you give up, a clarity simple as water arrives. Return to what matters. And what matters appears immediately. A person, a value, a boundary, a choice. No drama, just truth. Step 19. The climax of the practice, when you feel I exist without needing to prove it. This is not euphoria. It is a quiet feeling of presence. You feel the whole body from the inside, as if whole for the first time in a long while, and then you understand Rumi without quotation, without theory, only fact. Love is not emotion. It is return to the real. And in this state you ask the final question of the session. What do I need to let go of to live more truthfully? You wait. And when it comes, you do not negotiate mentally. You simply acknowledge it. You feel the impact and breathe. And you end the session without closing anything, because this is not an end. It is a beginning. You leave with a direction and a small commitment today. Step 20. Now you anchor attention to the next portal, because this is where practice becomes life. You will do this meditation for 7 days without trying to feel something, only to return. And each day you will choose one single question. Simple, brutally true. Where am I lying to myself? What am I avoiding feeling? What is my true next step? And you will observe how the answers change when you fulfill the step during the day, because the soul responds more to those who obey more. And Rumi was always this. It is not about understanding, it is about surrendering to the real. Now tell me from the chest, do you truly want answers about your existence? Or do you just want one more beautiful idea to keep living far from your soul? Stop running. Sit where you are, without pretty ritual, without spiritual performance, spine upright, chin light, hands loose, like someone laying down a weapon. Close your eyes and give a name to what pulls you outward. Noise. That alone is living Sufism, seeing the noise without obeying it. You are not meditating, you are returning to the center. And Rumi was always this. Return to the heart, not a hunt for theories. Now comes the step that changes everything. Breath as a doorway, not as a cold technique. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. hold for 2, exhale for 6, very slowly. As you exhale, imagine the chest opening space inside. This is not silly imagination, it is a gesture of surrender. And Rumi spoke of surrender. On the exhale, let the weight of the day fall as if it were sliding off your shoulders. And when the mind comes with, "This doesn't work," you do not argue. You simply say inwardly, "I heard you," and return to the chest. The soul does not appear to those who fight. It appears to those who stay. You stay, you breathe, and you feel the body becoming a habitable place. This is how the interior begins to reveal itself. Presence that does not negotiate. Now you will do what Rumi did with the seeker. Cut the lie of the self. You will notice that half of your suffering is a character. So, for 1 minute, repeat inwardly very simply, "I am not the noise," and do not repeat it as a pretty phrase. Repeat it while watching the noise pass. Thoughts come and go, memories come and go, fear comes and goes, and you do not chase, do not push, do not explain, do not judge. You simply acknowledge, passing, passing, passing. This is Sufi discipline to the bone, seeing without merging. When you stop merging, a silence is born that is not emptiness. It is in this silence that the soul begins to answer without words. Now the most direct practical point, you will ask the right question in the right way. The question is not "What is my destiny?" That is anxiety in disguise. The Sufi question is humbler and more dangerous. What is true right now? You place the question in the chest as if placing a hand over low fire, and you do not rush to seek an answer. You wait for the body to respond. The soul answers first through sensation, tightness, warmth, calm, tears. If tears come, do not hold them. Tears are truth opening a path. If emptiness comes, stay with the emptiness. Emptiness is cleansing, not punishment. And if fear comes, look at the fear without becoming it. Rumi would do that. You are training the muscle that receives the present heart. Now you will learn to recognize an answer from the soul versus an answer from the mind. The mind answers quickly, with ready-made phrases, with haste, with defense. The soul answers slowly, with simple clarity, and you feel peace alongside it. So when an answer appears in your head, you test it in the body. Ask, "Does this make me more whole or more tense?" If it makes you tense, it is the ego trying to control, and Rumi would confront that. If it makes you whole, even if it hurts, it is the soul showing direction. The soul does not promise comfort, it promises truth. And truth has a taste. It feels simple, inevitable, real. You will learn this taste in practice, repeating this test every time. Now the strongest technique to access the interior. Descend from the head to the chest. Place one hand on the heart and the other on the abdomen without embarrassment. Breathe and feel the weight of the hands as an anchor, as a seal. Every time you think too much, return to the weight of the hands and repeat inwardly, "I return, I return, I return." Rumi would call this return to the beloved, return to the center. You do not need to imagine light. You do not need to see mystical things. You need to feel the real warmth of the hand, air entering, air leaving. This real is the doorway because the soul lives in the present, and the present is the place the ego hates because there it does not rule. Now you will use pain as a guide, not as an enemy. The pain you avoid is exactly where your existence asks for an answer. So choose one pain, just one, and bring it to the chest with care. Do not turn it into drama, do not turn it into story, turn it into sensation. Where does it live? Throat, chest, stomach, back? You breathe into that place as if giving it space to exist. Rumi taught not to flee what breaks you because it breaks you open. And when you give space, pain turns into information. Sometimes the answer comes like this: stop betraying yourself. Sometimes it comes like this: you are trying to be loved, and you forgot to love. Now a practical step to receive answers without inventing them. Write afterward, not during. During meditation, you do not rush to write. You do not rush to prove. You stay, breathe, feel, and let the messages arrive like seeds. When you finish, take a paper and write only 3 lines. What I felt in the body, what became clear, what I need to let go of. This trains you to separate soul from mind, experience from narrative. Rumi did not feed curiosity, he fed real transformation. If the answer does not transform you into simple action, it is fantasy. The soul always asks for something practical, a boundary, a forgiveness, a decision, and you honor that with a real gesture that day, even if small. Now the most direct Sufi practice to receive answers, silence plus total sincerity. You say inwardly, without theater, "I am afraid," or "I am empty." The ego wants to look strong, the soul only wants to be true. And Rumi pointed to this: what heals is truth without a mask. So you confess to yourself very simply what you are avoiding. And when you confess, you do not punish yourself. You breathe and receive. You repeat, "I see, I accept, I stay." And then you ask the right question. What is the true next step? Not a giant step, the next step. The soul speaks in next steps. And when the answer comes, you will feel a steady calm, not euphoria. Now comes the heart of Sufism as a mirror, remembering the beloved, not anxiety. Choose a short word to remember the center, beloved or God, and repeat it softly inside, synchronized with the breath. On the inhale, beloved. On the exhale, I return. This is not a magical mantra. It is direction, return, emotional discipline. The mind will mock it, will say it is ridiculous. You do not argue. You return, and every return is a victory over the noise. And suddenly you realize your whole life you were carried by the noise. Now you are choosing, and this choice itself is already an answer about existence. You truly exist when you stop being dragged. Now you will learn to remain in I don't know without despair. Because many people want answers to fill a hole, not to live the truth. Rumi would step on your comfortable rug and say, endure the emptiness. So if you ask and nothing comes, good, you found the door. You stay 3 minutes in silence and seek nothing. You simply remain. Feel the ground, feel the air, feel the chest. This cleans the addiction to, I need a sign, I need proof, I need guarantees. The soul gives no guarantees, it gives direction when you are ready to obey. And obedience here is simple. Act with more truth today than yesterday. This is the beginning of the greater answer. Your existence is training in sincerity. Now, when the answer comes as an image or a short phrase, do not idolize it. Do not turn it into a grand mission, because that is the ego inflating spirituality. Rumi did not inflate. He melted, simplified, until it hurt. So you take the phrase and reduce it to a concrete act. If the phrase is return to yourself, the act is turn off distraction for 1 hour. If the phrase is stop selling yourself, the act is say a no you avoid. If the phrase is forgive yourself, the act is stop humiliating yourself mentally today. The soul answers to become life, not a collection of pretty phrases, and every time you comply, the inner channel becomes cleaner. Cleaner means clearer answers, more frequent, simpler. Now you will use a physical trigger to enter the state faster. Choose a fixed place, a chair, a corner, and always use it. Every time you sit there, your body learns, here I return. Rumi spoke of constancy of the heart, not motivation. So you keep it short, but you do it every day. 7 minutes, no negotiation. First minute, breathing 4-6, nothing else. Second and third, hand on the chest, I return, feeling warmth. Fourth and fifth, ask what is true right now and wait for sensation. Sixth and seventh, listen in silence without hunting for answers. Then write 3 lines and move into the day with 1 act of truth. Now a detail that changes everything. Do not meditate to feel peace, meditate to see. Because those who meditate for peace become dependent on pleasant sensations, Rumi would not addict you to sensation. He would free you from addiction. So if restlessness comes, stay with it as you would with a child. You do not abandon it. You do not attack it. You do not flee. You breathe and say, I stay with you, to the restlessness. And suddenly the interior opens because you stopped fighting yourself. The soul loves those who remain, not those who perform. And the answers come like this. You see what you have been avoiding for years, and you see it with simple clarity, as if you always knew. Now let's be direct. How to hear the soul during meditation. You pay attention to 3 channels: body, emotion, direction. Body, where it relaxes and where it contracts when you think of a choice. Emotion, what feeling appears when you stop lying to yourself. Direction, what small action arises repeatedly, insistently, without drama. The mind brings 1,000 options. The soul brings 1 simple, constant direction. If the direction repeats on different days, that is depth. Rumi would teach you to respect repetition because it is the call, and a call does not need to shout. It returns, returns, returns. You do not need to believe. You need to test it with a real act. The test is the body. After the act, you feel more whole. Now, if you want answers about who am I, stop asking who am I. Ask this instead. What in me is false and draining me? This question cuts fantasy and points directly to the exact place of pain. And Rumi worked like this. Remove the false so the real remains. During meditation, when a behavior that shames you appears, do not run. Look at it and say, I see you, like turning on a light. And ask, what do I gain by keeping this? The answer comes raw. Approval, control, escape, anesthesia. When you see the hidden gain, the mask falls. And when the mask falls, the soul breathes and you feel immediate relief. Now a quick practice for when you are in daily chaos. You stop for 20 seconds, just 20, and touch the chest with 2 fingers. Take 1 deep breath and ask, what is true right now? And choose 1 micro truth. I am deceiving myself. I am afraid. Just naming it already breaks the ego's spell. Rumi was a master at breaking spells, bringing you back to the real. Then you choose a micro act. Drink water, stand up, leave the phone, apologize. It seems small, but this is the path, the interior accessed in daily life. The soul is not only in silence, the soul is in choice, in gesture, in now. And each micro-act opens the channel more for greater answers. Now, when you feel that nothing is happening, do not speed up. This haste is the ego wanting results to feel special. Rumi does not feed specialness, he feeds truth. So, you stay one more minute and do the hardest thing, listen without wanting. You pay attention to the most distant sound, then the closest one. Then you return to the sound of your breathing. This simple exercise cuts thought and places you here. And here is where the soul speaks, because here you are not imagining the future. You will notice that in silence, a dry, direct intuition arises. Change this. You will want to argue, do not argue, just register and return to breathing. Now I will give you the clearest way to receive answers without delusion. A soul answer has 3 marks: simplicity, firmness, humility. Simplicity, it fits in a short sentence. Firmness, it does not depend on your mood to be true. Humility, it calls you to act better, not to feel superior. If the message makes you arrogant, that is ego fantasizing. If it makes you more human, more honest, more present, that is soul. Rumi was this living filter. Everything that inflates is suspect, everything that melts is real. And you will use this filter every time like an inner guardian. This keeps the practice safe, coherent, and deeply transformative. Now, the emotional part you avoid, the soul asks for surrender, and you resist. So in meditation, when the urge to stand up, grab the phone, or flee appears, stay. Stay 30 seconds longer than you wanted to stay. That 30 more is the act that breaks the old you. And Rumi taught this without over-explaining. The path is to cross through, to cross discomfort without turning it into drama, without violence toward yourself. Just cross, breathe, and return to the chest. And at some point you feel something relaxed inside. That relaxation is the sign you entered the interior of the soul. And when you enter, the question about existence changes because you feel presence. Now, if you truly want deep answers, stop asking for a sign and ask for truth. Say inwardly, I accept the truth even if it hurts. This is strong because most people want answers that soothe, not that free. Rumi freed. And freedom hurts at first because the ego loses the throne. So you repeat, I accept, and breathe into the chest slowly. And observe which part of you gets angry at this phrase. That part is the ego defending the old identity. You do not hate that part, you simply do not let it rule. Then you ask, what in me wants to rule and why? If you stay with this, the answer comes as a truth that dismantles the theater. And when you truly begin to listen, you realize that your existence does not ask for spectacle. It asks for alignment. Feel, see, act, return, feel again. And Rumi becomes your mirror. Every time you get lost, you return to the heart. Every time you seek outside, you return within. Every time you lie to yourself, you confess and breathe. And the answers begin to come not as beautiful phrases, but as daily direction. Only now comes the question that opens the next portal. When your soul finally shows you the truth you have been avoiding, will you have the courage to obey? Or will you prefer to keep asking for signs, even knowing deep down that the soul has already answered? Now go even deeper, the way Rumi would push you without mercy, because he never wanted to comfort you, he wanted to wake you up. You do not access the interior of the soul when you are trying to have an experience, you access it when you stop protecting yourself. So in practice, when you sit down to meditate, the first thing you do is give up coming out unscathed. You enter with a clear decision, I will not defend myself against whatever appears. This changes everything, because the soul does not speak to those who negotiate safety. It speaks to those who accept feeling. And the moment you accept feeling, something in you stops fighting, and that stopping is the doorway. Rumi taught that the heart is a battlefield between habit and truth. So when you are breathing and notice the mind trying to explain, justify, or compare, you do not push it away. You look at it and say, I know what you are trying to do. This recognition breaks the automatism. The practice here is simple and hard. Every time an explanation arises, you return to the most evident physical sensation in the body. It may be the weight of the body on the chair, the air touching the nose, the warmth in the chest. This is real grounding. The soul answers in the body before it becomes words. If you stay in the body, you stay in the right channel. Now, a point almost no one does, but Rumi would. You allow silence to confront you. You stay quiet long enough for emptiness to appear. And when emptiness appears, you do not run. You do not think. It's not working. You stay. This emptiness is the space where the old identity begins to die. It is uncomfortable because for a few seconds you no longer know who you are. But it is exactly there that the soul begins to reveal itself. Not yet as a clear answer, but as firm presence. And presence is the foundation of every true answer. When you ask the soul something, you do not ask as one who demands, you ask as one who listens. So instead of tell me who I am, you ask what in me is real right now. This question does not generate discourse, it generates alignment. You feel when something is real because it does not seek approval, and the practice is to feel this quality in the body. What is real relaxes the chest, what is false tightens it. This is not mysticism, it is refined perception. Rumi trusted this more than any word. Now comes a deep practice. You let emotion complete its cycle. If sadness arises, you do not analyze its story. You breathe and allow the sadness to move through the body until it loses strength. Emotion that does not pass becomes identity. Emotion that passes becomes clarity. And Rumi spoke of this constantly, even when it sounded like poetry. Let the fire burn what is not gold. In practice, this is staying with the emotion without doing anything with it, just feeling. And when it dissolves, a clean silence remains. In that silence, the soul speaks with a simplicity that is almost disappointing in how direct it is. When the soul's answer comes, it almost never comes as something new. It comes as something you already knew but were avoiding. And this is a silent shock. You realize that what was missing was not an answer. It was courage. So the practical step here is not to romanticize the insight. You take the answer and ask, where does this touch my life today? And you choose a small gesture, small on purpose, because the ego wants to turn insight into spectacle. The soul wants to turn insight into lived truth. There is a specific moment in meditation when the ego loses strength, when you get tired of thinking. So do not fight to stop thoughts. Let them get tired. You breathe, observe, return, observe, return. At some point, the mind surrenders out of exhaustion. And in that interval, even if brief, you feel something very clear. You are here, without a role, without a character. This being here is the deepest answer about existence that Rumi pointed to. Before any meaning, there is presence, and presence is the ground of everything. Now a brutally honest practice, you ask, what do I gain by continuing like this? As your life is now, your habits, your choices. This question exposes the hidden benefit of suffering. And when you see the benefit, the illusion falls. Because no one suffers without gaining something in return. It may be control, it may be victimhood, it may be avoiding risk. The soul shows this without accusation. It shows it like a mirror, and you feel shame, yes, but along with it comes relief, because now you see. And seeing is freedom beginning. When you feel the practice becoming automatic, Rumi would have you change something simple to break the habit. Perhaps meditate at a different time. Perhaps stay one more minute in the uncomfortable silence. Perhaps change the question. This keeps the practice alive, not mechanical. The soul does not respond to empty rituals, it responds to renewed sincerity. So the training here is this. In every session you enter as if it were the first with no guarantee, no expectation. This keeps the heart open. And finally, without closing, you begin to notice something unsettling and liberating. The soul's answers do not take you away from the world, they bring you back to it more truthfully. You begin to act differently, speak differently, choose differently. Less impulse, more alignment, less noise, more presence. And then the question arises that does not let you sleep the same way. If your soul has already begun to speak so clearly when you stay, what in you still insists on running when truth approaches? If you have reached this far, you have already realized that Rumi never taught you to seek answers outside, but to stop until the soul is finally heard. Everything said here is not theory. It is living practice, a return to the heart, silence that answers. Now the choice is yours. Continue living in noise or remain here at the point where the soul begins to speak with simple, impossible to ignore clarity. Stay until the end and you will feel in practice how to access the interior of your soul, recognize the true answers about your existence, and leave with a real direction applicable to your day, without fantasy, without escape, without self-deception.